I was mid-sentence, answering a question about workplace stress management, when my door flew open behind me. My mother walked straight into the camera frame, holding a pill bottle. "Natalie, you forgot your anxiety medication again," she said, loud enough for the entire Zoom call to hear. Then my father's voice from off-screen. "Sorry to interrupt. We need to talk to you about accommodations for her condition." He stepped into frame too, looking directly at my laptop camera. The interviewer's face went blank. I froze. And that's the moment I realized my parents weren't protecting me. They were destroying me. "My name is Natalie. I'm 24 years old. I graduated with a psychology degree a year ago, and I'd been living at home while job hunting." Sounds normal, right? Except my parents had turned my life into a cage, and I didn't even see the bars until that Zoom call. Here's the backstory. During finals week my junior year of college, I had a panic attack. A single panic attack during one of the most stressful weeks of my academic life. I went to therapy, got on medication, learned coping strategies. I was fine. But my parents? They never let it go. From that day on, they treated me like I was made of glass, like I was one bad day away from shattering completely. The truth is, I'm in therapy voluntarily. I manage my anxiety. I'm completely functional. But to them, I'll always be the girl who had a breakdown 3 years ago. I'd applied to dozens of jobs over the past year. None of them worked out, and I kept thinking it was me. That maybe I wasn't good enough. That maybe something was wrong with me. This Zoom interview was supposed to be different. It was for a communications role at a mid-sized marketing firm. I'd prepped for a week straight, researched the company, practiced answers, put together a portfolio. I was ready. I wasn't some helpless kid. I had a degree, references, real skills. But to them, I'd always be broken. If you've ever been treated like you're broken when you're not, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I need to know I'm not the only one. Let me take you back to that interview. I was sitting at my desk in my bedroom, dressed professionally from the waist up, camera angled perfectly. The interviewer, a woman named Emma from HR, was asking me how I handled high-pressure situations. I was giving a strong answer, talking about time management, prioritization, staying organized under deadlines. I felt good, confident, like I was finally getting somewhere. Then I heard the door handle turn behind me. I didn't even have time to react. My mother walked in holding a pill bottle and a glass of water. "Sweetie, you forgot your medication again," she said, not whispering at all. "You know you can't skip doses." I tried to laugh it off, hit the mute button, wave her away. But then my father appeared. He looked right at the camera, right at Emma. "Is this the company?" he asked. "We need to ask, what's your policy on mental health accommodations?" My stomach dropped. Emma's expression shifted from professional to uncomfortable. My father kept going. "Our daughter has severe anxiety disorder. She can't handle high-stress environments. What kind of support do you offer?" I unmuted, my voice shaking. "I'm so sorry. I can explain." Emma cleared her throat. "We'll be in touch. Thank you for your time, Natalie." The screen went black. I sat there staring at my reflection in the dark monitor. Then I spun around. "What did you just do?" I said, my voice cracking. My mother looked confused. "We were protecting you. What if you got the job and couldn't handle it?" "You just ruined my interview." My father crossed his arms. "You'd have another breakdown, Natalie. We can't just sit back and watch that happen. That was one panic attack 3 years ago. I'm fine." My mother's eyes filled with tears. "You don't see yourself the way we do, sweetheart. You're not ready." I wanted to scream. Instead, I walked past them, out of my room, down the stairs. I grabbed my laptop from the kitchen table and opened my email. Something had been nagging at me for months. All these job applications, all these interviews that went nowhere. I started searching through my sent folder, through my spam, through old rejection emails. And that's when I saw the pattern. Vague, weirdly worded rejection emails. Interviews I thought went well, but never heard back from. Applications that seemed to disappear into thin air. Then I found one I definitely didn't send. Thank you for your interest, but I've decided not to pursue employment at this time. Sent from my email, but I didn't write it. I scrolled further. Another one. My daughter isn't ready for full-time work. Please remove her from consideration. Natalie's parents. My hands started shaking. This wasn't the first time they'd sabotaged me. It was just the first time I'd seen it happen in real time. A week later, I got the rejection email from Emma's company. Polite, brief, final. I barely had time to process it before my parents announced a family dinner that weekend. I should have known something was wrong when I walked in and saw my aunt, uncle, and 2 cousins already sitting at the table. This wasn't a dinner. It was an ambush. My father stood up, cleared his throat like he was about to give a toast. We wanted to talk to Natalie together, he said, looking around the table. As people who love her. My mother reached for my hand. I pulled it away. Sweetheart, we're worried, she said. You keep chasing these high-pressure jobs that just aren't right for you. My aunt jumped in. My friend runs a boutique downtown. She's looking for part-time help. Low-key, no stress. I stared at her. I have a degree. I don't want to fold clothes part-time. My uncle leaned forward. There's no shame in starting small, Natalie, especially with your situation. My situation? I repeated. One of my cousins put her hand on my shoulder. They just want what's best for you, Nat. What's best for me is a real job, I said, my voice rising. I'm qualified. I worked hard for my degree. My mother started crying, full tears, shaking shoulders, the whole performance. You're not thinking clearly, she said. You're obsessing over this. That's a symptom, honey. You're not well. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. I didn't say a word. I just grabbed my jacket and left. I was shaking with anger the whole drive home. And humiliation. Because part of me wondered if they were right. But they weren't. I knew they weren't. A few days later, my phone started buzzing with LinkedIn notifications I didn't recognize. I opened my email and something told me to check my spam folder. That's where I found them. Sent emails from my account that I never wrote. Messages to recruiters. Thank you for your interest, but I've decided not to pursue employment at this time. Another to a hiring manager. My daughter isn't ready for full-time work. Please remove her from consideration. Natalie's parents. They'd been using my email. I'd left myself logged in on the family computer, and they'd been going through it, sending messages, sabotaging me. I found my parents in the living room. You've been in my email, I said. My father didn't even look guilty. We're saving you from making a huge mistake. A mistake? Getting a job is a mistake? My mother stood up. You had a breakdown, Natalie, in college. What if it happens again and you lose everything? I'm managing it, I shouted. I'm in therapy. I'm on medication that works. Clearly it's not working, my father said, if you think you're ready for this kind of stress. I changed all my passwords that night. Email, LinkedIn, everything. But the damage was already done. I started looking at apartments the next week. Cheap studios, anything I could afford with whatever job I could get. I went to check my savings account, money from graduation gifts, plus a small fund my grandparents had set up for me when I was a kid. That's when I found out the account was still in my parents' names as co-owners. I went to the bank, tried to withdraw. The teller shook her head. You'll need both account holders to sign off on any transfers. I drove straight home, printed out the transfer paperwork, and put it in front of my father. Sign this, I said. He didn't even look at it. We're keeping that money in trust until you're stable. I'm 24, it's my money! My mother appeared in the doorway. And we'll give it to you when you're ready to use it responsibly. My father leaned back in his chair. If you keep pushing this job nonsense, if you keep trying to move out, we'll know you're having an episode, and we'll have to take stronger steps. I felt the trap close around me. No money, no job, no way out. But here's what they didn't know. I'd been planning. The day after the Zoom disaster, I'd done something risky. I screen recorded the whole interview, saw the sabotage, the interruption, everything, saved on my laptop. And I wrote directly to Emma, the HR director. I sent a personal apology email. I explained the situation, took accountability, and made it clear I was genuinely interested in the role. I didn't expect a response, but Emma wrote back. That was definitely unusual, but your qualifications stood out. Would you be open to a follow-up conversation? I started documenting everything after that. Screenshots of the emails my parents sent from my account, recordings of our conversations, evidence. I also called my therapist, Dr. Patel. I need a letter, I told her. Something official that says I'm capable of working. She didn't hesitate. I'll have it ready by tomorrow. Dr. Patel wrote a clear, professional letter confirming that my diagnosis was managed, that I was fully capable of employment, and that there were no concerns about my stability. I also opened a secret email account. New applications, new job searches. My parents had no access this time. I knew I needed more than a job. I needed proof that I wasn't what they said I was. They thought they were protecting me, but all they were protecting was their control. 2 days later, Emma emailed again. I'd like to invite you to an in-person second interview. Can you come to our office downtown? I replied in under a minute. Yes. I told my parents I was going to the library to work on freelance writing samples, but things were escalating at home. I noticed my phone acting weird, slow, apps I didn't recognize. I did some digging and found a tracking app installed. I confronted my mother at dinner. Why is there a tracking app on my phone? She didn't even blink. We need to know you're safe. That night, my father said something that made my blood run cold. Your mother and I have been talking to a lawyer. I looked up. A lawyer? For what? My mother smiled softly. Just exploring options, in case you need more support. I couldn't sleep that night. Around midnight, I heard voices in the kitchen. I crept to the top of the stairs and listened. My father's voice, low and serious. The conservatorship is a last resort, but if she keeps spiraling, we might not have a choice. My mother. She'll hate us at first, but one day she'll understand we saved her. I sat on the stairs, frozen. They weren't just controlling my money and my job prospects. They were planning legal control over my entire life. If I didn't act now, I might never get out. I confirmed the in-person interview for the next morning. I prepped my portfolio, printed Dr. Patel's letter, and put the Zoom recording on a USB drive. I had one shot. The morning of the interview, I told my parents I had a doctor's appointment. I turned off my phone, called an Uber, and rode downtown in silence. The office building was clean and modern, professional, real. Emma met me in a conference room. 2 other managers joined us, David and Priya. Emma started, gently. Thanks for coming in, Natalie. We want to give you a fair shot. I took a breath. Before we start, I said, I need to address what happened on the Zoom call. I explained everything, calmly, clearly. My parents interrupted that interview, They believe I'm not capable of working because I had a panic attack in college 3 years ago. Since then, they've monitored, controlled, and sabotaged my attempts to be independent. I pulled out Dr. Patel's letter and slid it across the table. This is from my therapist. It confirms I'm mentally fit to work. I'm in treatment, I'm stable, and I'm fully capable. David picked it up, read it, nodded. I kept going. I also brought this. I held up the USB drive. A recording of the Zoom interview. I'm not hiding what happened, but I want you to see who I am beyond that moment. Then I gave my presentation, portfolio, campaign ideas, writing samples, references. I spoke clearly, confidently, passionately about the role. Priya leaned forward. What happens if your parents interfere again? I'm moving out, I said. I'm taking control of my life. That's part of why this job matters so much. Emma's expression was unreadable. You understand we can't be involved in family issues. I'm not asking you to be, I said. I'm asking you to judge me on my skills. That's all I've ever wanted. Silence. Then Emma smiled. You're exactly what we're looking for. David nodded. We'd like to offer you the position. I blinked. Really? Really, Emma said. Pending a background check, of course. Starting salary is $52,000 plus benefits. And there's a $3,000 signing bonus. My eyes burned. This was real. Priya added, we also have an employee assistance program, legal aid, counseling, resources. If you're dealing with a difficult family situation, we can connect you. I accepted on the spot. Emma stood and shook my hand. Welcome to the team. I left the office in a daze, signing bonus check in my hand. I went directly to a different bank and opened a new account in only my name. I deposited the check. Then I contacted a lawyer through the Employee Assistance Program. I got a consultation about financial independence and my rights. The lawyer was clear. At 24, my parents had no legal claim to my earnings. I could reclaim my funds with legal help. Within 2 weeks, I found a roommate situation through a colleague at work. I moved out on a Saturday while my parents were at brunch. I left a note on the kitchen counter. I got the job. I'm moving out. I'm not asking permission anymore. They called me dozens of times. I didn't answer. A month later, I finally agreed to meet them for coffee. We sat at a small table in a cafe downtown. Neutral ground. My mother's eyes were red. How could you just leave like that? I stayed calm. You were planning a conservatorship. I heard you. My father's face went pale. He didn't know I knew. I'm not mentally ill, I said quietly. I'm not fragile. I'm competent. And I'm done letting you tell me otherwise. My mother started crying. We were just trying to protect you. No, I said. You were trying to control me. There's a difference. I stood up, left a $5 bill on the table for my coffee. I looked at them one last time. I hope one day you'll see me for who I actually am, I said, but I'm not waiting around for that anymore. I walked out, and I didn't look back. I'd spent years believing I needed fixing. Turns out, I just needed freedom. 3 months later, I'm thriving at my job. I got a promotion. I'm in my own apartment. My parents still don't understand why I don't call. But here's the thing. I don't owe them my struggle to prove I'm okay. I just have to be okay. If you've ever had family treat you like you're incapable when you're not, this story is for you. Hit subscribe and tell me, have you ever had to prove yourself to people who should have believed in you from the start? Drop your location in the comments. I read every single one, and I want to hear your story. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're enough. Don't let anyone tell you different.